Assalamualaikum and welcome to Titli's Busy Kitchen with me, Titli. Today I'm going to make a cake. Some people call it Schwarzwaldkuchen, other people call it Black Forest Gateau, but nobody ever calls it what it really is. It's a chocolate cake with cherries and cream. So the first thing we need to do is make a monster chocolate cake. By which I mean a very large chocolate cake, not a cake made from chocolate squeezed from a monster. I've got 340 grams of castor or superfine sugar, 340 grams of butter, that's unsalted butter, 240 grams of self-raising flour, 100 grams of cocoa powder and 6 eggs. Put the butter and the castor sugar in a bowl and cream them together. When it's all light and fluffy, after about 5 minutes, add the eggs one at a time. Once all the eggs have been beaten in, you can sift in the flour and the cocoa powder. Then fold them all together with a spoon. Ooh, this is just so chocolatey. I've got an 8-inch high-sided cake tin here which I've greased and lined with greaseproof paper. I'm going to scoop in this cake batter. Plop, plop. Spread the mixture down evenly into the pan. Smooth the top surface, make it nice and flat if you can. Now we'll bake this at 150 degrees fan oven, 170 normal oven for about an hour. After an hour, see if it's cooked by stabbing it with a skewer. Wee, 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 wee. If the skewer comes out clean, it's cooked. Now if your skewer comes out covered in cake batter, you can either throw the whole lot away and start again, or give it to a monster, or probably the best thing to do is put the cake back in the oven and cook it for a bit longer. Now leave it for 15 minutes before you try and get it out of the tin. Once you've got it out of the tin, leave it to cool. For the icing, I've got 200 ml of double cream and 200 grams of dark 55% cocoa chocolate. Heat the cream gently in a small pan with stirring, and just as it comes to the boil, pour it onto the chocolate and mix well. And after mixing for a minute or so, you should end up with this lovely, smooth, chocolatey goop. Now put it somewhere cool, like the fridge, to cool. Honestly, you have to spoon feed some people. For the filling, I've got 400 ml of double cream or extra heavy whipping cream and 2 tins of cherries in syrup. Now whatever you do, do not use cherry pie filling. Couple of reasons. One is it'll make your cake far too sweet. Secondly, it'll probably make the bottom of your cake very soggy. And thirdly, I'll get very angry when somebody says, "Titli, I followed your instructions exactly, but I used cherry pie filling and it came out far too sweet and had a soggy bottom. What did I do wrong?" I do have a gun, you know. Let's start by whipping the cream. When it's all nice and stiff, you can stop. Now you'll need to drain the cherries and keep back about 1 cup of the syrup. Now that my cake has cooled, I'm going to use this very sharp knife with a serrated edge to cut it into 3 layers. There's one. And the next. So there's my 3 layers. Looks like Mickey Mouse has come to haunt me. Now drizzle 5 or 6 tablespoons of the cherry syrup onto each layer of the cake. I'll just turn Mickey's face inside out and then drizzle. Now get yourself a nice big plate or cake board. Put the first slice on. Spread on about 1/3 of the cream. Then add half the cherries. Now put the middle layer on top and just press it down gently. Now spread on half the remaining cream, add the remaining cherries, then pop on the hat and just gently press it down. Now when your chocolate icing has gone all spodgy, you can spread a thin layer onto the cake. I'll just start by filling in Mickey's mouth. This vision's going to haunt me all night. Then go around the sides. It's a bit like filling holes in a wall. Now I'm going to pipe the rest of the cream onto the top of the cake. Just some blobettes, nothing too fancy. And I'll finish off the top of the cake with some chocolate shavings. There we are. I top it off with a few cherries, but they're completely out of season. A monster Black Forest Gateau, and I didn't harm a single monster. Okay, now a couple of points. Firstly, I don't add kirsch into my Black Forest Gateau, mainly because I don't drink booze, but if you drink booze, by all means feel free to add a couple of tablespoons of kirsch in with the cherry syrup. Secondly, for those of you who are calorie conscious, each thin slice of this cake contains about a bazillion calories, so the entire cake should last you several months. Unless of course you happen to be a greedy monster, in which case it will only last you a day or two. Join me next time in Titli's Busy Kitchen with me, Titli. Until next time, Khuda Hafiz.